Montagu in the Western Cape. It is a beautiful morning and this is Durringlaagte. It's the start point for the 2025 Hills Challenge. The Hills Challenge, 75 Ks, 55, 40 and a 20. And there's a great vibe here, camping overnight here. And this Montagu venue in March in 2026 is going to be hosting a couple of stages of the Absa Cape Epic. So this is a great opportunity for those riders riding that to explore that. But for the rest of us, just to enjoy the new trails that they've got in Montagu.
It's called a Hills Challenge, and what we obviously wanted to do is we wanted to include hills, and there's quite a lot of the routes that we're going to use in the Epic that we unfortunately couldn't use here, but we managed to still get about 1,700 meters of climbing. And I think the one thing the guys realized that sort of in this area there's sort of nothing free. If the elevation is 1,700, you work for every single one of those 1,700 meters.
The fit, bold and brave lined up for the 75-kilometre race at Durringlaagte. A familiar pair of legs on the front row, Ray van Breda of Jump Cut Media. And Ben Meld Swanepoel of Squirt Cycling Products had made the trip from George to be part of the Hills Challenge. One of Meld's former Cape Epic partners, Series and Witzenberg Valley legend Hannes Hanekom, had also dusted off his bike. The Hills Challenge is an important part of the regeneration of mountain biking in the region. At one stage, it was a hotbed of the sport, but the emergence of more accessible trail riding areas near Cape Town and dwindling interest saw it fade off the scene. Coupled with the return of the Absa Cape Epic to Montagu, the event has sparked new vigour into the Montagu mountain bike community, according to a local resident and avid rider.
It's definitely picked up the vibe in Montagu. I mean, everybody's now switched on, eh? So, I mean, 2007 was the last time Epic came through here. And for years, I mean, we've been saying we need to get it back into the town here. But you know, the trails haven't been available. I mean, in Montagu, you don't really need trails because there's cheap track here to die for. So we've managed to chat to the right powers, and we sort of like said, come on, you got to get it back here. And they said yes, and we started building. And then Chris has built like about 200 kilometers of track here now, which is just unbelievable, and it's injected such a big energy into the town now. And we're starting to see, you know, the Stellenbosch boys, you know, they don't know what Montagu is all about, but all of a sudden, there's like, I mean, people are coming to buy properties there. We're hearing about people coming to do a ride and buying a property. So it's made a massive shift for Montagu.
The dirt road leading to the Oberg Pass took the 75-kilometre riders deep into the hills, with a group of 8 in the lead. Andrew Hutton led a bunch which included Jane Fisher and Colette Bastard. This is a spectacular part of the Karoo, littered with mountains and valleys and perfect for mountain biking. The 75, 55 and 40k routes explore different areas of the landscape.
Haven't raced here before, obviously been working the event a couple of years and on the mic, and now actually getting to ride it on the bike with the youngster. But I know the routes, been riding here a couple of years ago, and I think what they've done now, the local Montagu folks have just put on such amazing trails. A big event coming through here in March next year. So I think they've put a lot of work together to make these trails work.
The first half of the 75-kilometre race was predominantly uphill, with 3 viciously steep and rough ascents that had many a rider off and pushing their bikes. Polrus learner Daniel Lutz had the legs and the youth to ride the steepest of climbs. An e-biker in the 55k race made short work of the climb naturally. Ray van Breda showing he hasn't lost his skill despite spending most of his time behind the camera shooting events rather than riding them. One of the primary motivators behind the resurgence of the sport in the region is a recent immigrant.
I moved to Montagu 3.5 years ago, primarily for the mountain biking. I was a bit disappointed in the trails that I found, and I sort of took it upon myself to sort of maintain them. There was only about 8 Ks of Montagu trails then. We've expanded that to about 17 Ks. And I went to go and visit an Epic once or twice, and I thought, man, if they want untamed Africa out here in the Klein Karoo, we've got a lot of untamed Africa. And we started sort of expanding Montagu trails to what we call external trails. And we sort of used the gravel roads to join a particular segments that we had, and sort of it expanded from there. In terms of the epic now, we have about 195 k's worth of sort of roads and trails, and obviously wonderful buy-in sort of from the landowners. The landowners have been amazing, and as I said, unfortunately for the Hills Challenge, there's a lot of the juicy bits that we couldn't include. So I think the riders today, in terms of the feedback, if they enjoyed that sort of without the juicy bits, they're really going to enjoy it sort of with the juicy bits. What we don't do here is we sort of don't do manicured trails, we sort of don't do berms, we don't do jumps. This is sort of rugged, natural trails. So those that sort of have all the bike park skills, those you can leave at home. You won't need them for the Hills Challenge or for the Epic.
Listen, so I think the Hills will grow. I think there's a lot of work to make it grow, to be honest, and we know that. But the injection that the Cape Epic has actually brought to this town now, and with our trails, it's just given us a new life, and actually allowed us to reconsider how we're going to push this event forward. And I think watch this space; it's going to be amazing. Those who rode it today who were lucky enough to know about it and come and do it, I think they'll spread the love, and I think we'll see this thing double its size or triple its size next year, and we'll be more aggressive with the marketing of it as well. But then the trails are also nicely ridden in. The Epic's been here, so I think we're gearing ourselves up for we're hoping for a bright future for mountain biking for Montagu. It deserves it.
A highlight of the Hills Challenge 75k race was the excursion through the pristine African Game Lodge. Montagu Toyota have been great supporters of the race and of the Montagu Trails team.
Firstly, to give back to the community is very important for us. And look, as I say, I'm a cyclist myself. I did the 361 3 years ago in the mud, and it was very special. But there must be people to help. If there's no hands, it's not gonna work. So for us to be able to sponsor with a Hilux, and especially not the Bucky Hilux, it's a privilege. And so if everybody becomes part of it, then it will be a success.
The rider who set the pace in the first 45 kilometres was Nick Duffin. The 20-year-old Marty student made his Absa Cape Epic debut earlier this year alongside his father. His university teammate Charles Costa was around 5 minutes behind him going out of the African Game Lodge sector. The second-year mechatronic engineer student Duffin was looking strong as he pedalled through the Langeberg Valley. Namibian Costa, though, was slowly gaining on his friend and rival. The last of the steep, long hill climbs from which the event name is derived saw Costa go into the lead. Desperate to stay clear of the chasers, he was looking over his shoulder and out of his saddle and pushing hard through the remote and spectacular terrain. Despite the exclusion of some of the juicy sections, the route was greeted with overwhelming enthusiasm. Typically harsh, ungroomed Karoo tracks and trails, and of course, very steep climbs and gnarly descents were part of the charm and challenge of the event. Another Stellenbosch University student, Zach de Kock, was in third place. A first-year BSc Sports Science student, he, Duffin and Costa had camped together in Montagu the night before, and the trio were clearly putting their hearty pizza dinner to good use. All three of the longer distances included some wild single-track trails, before a stretch of undulating district road led them onto the finish at Doringlaagte Resort on the outskirts of Montagu, across Tailwind, helping push them home. Charles Costa, born in Bentonville, Arkansas, schooled in Windhoek and studying in Stellenbosch, took the win in 3 hours and 38 minutes. 3 minutes ahead of Nick Duffin was Zach de Kock in third.
A lot of loose rocks on the Jeep tracks, and then once you got on the actual district roads, it was very smooth. Felt like you're on a gravel bike nearly, but and there's some single track as well. It was just super lekker through the farms. It was one of the most beautiful rides I've done in a long time. It was very lekker.
Tired but satisfied riders coming into the finish here at Doringlaagte. The finish of the Hills Challenge, 75, 55, 40, the youngsters at 20, 10Ks, something for everyone here. It really is a special community vibe here. Over here, underneath the tent here, is where the concessions, the food, recovery food is. And that's all in aid of a school here, the Koo Primary School. Just 38 kids, 2 teachers, but this is where they raise funds, so the community is deeply involved in this event. It's a special little event, and I think it's going to grow to become a very big special event.
Mariette Lutz won the women's 75k race from Eleonora Willemse and Hillian Miller. And Charles Costa took the top step alongside his Marty mates Nick Duffin and Zach de Kock. Look out for the Hills Challenge in 2026. You don't want to miss it.